Andrew Schulz once again will not stop saying nasty things and calling it comedy. As you're probably aware of, Kendrick Lamar released his latest project, GNX, not too long ago, and in my opinion, it's incredible. I personally cannot stop listening to it. But the line from the album that is ultimately important to this video is,
Let no white comedian talk about no black woman that's lost.
to which Andrew Schulz responded,
I would make love to him, and there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. That's the only.
let's bear in mind that his name was never mentioned. Yeah, he took this so personally, knowing that he does use humor that violates people, and he especially finds it funny when he describes violence among Black people. You know what? Scratch that. Andrew just loves race jokes, period. He's just so edgy, quirky, and cool. But I'll give it to him. It would make sense that that line would be about him because he did not too long ago say some distasteful things about Black women that got him and the Shits and Gigs guys in some trouble. In fact, Kendrick was probably referring to these guys, not Schultz. No one expects you to have integrity. No one is asking you to stop being an asshole. Carry on. But he's so into himself that he really sat there and thought, he has to be talking about me. This is my brand. Who else could he be talking about? I just have to address this. My fans need my comedic genius commentary on this shit. They'll especially love the part where I threaten to grape Kendrick. And he literally sits there and talks about Kendrick for like 15 minutes straight. This is all due to one single line. I personally don't find grape or violence of any kind toward anyone funny, but do you?
There's nothing he could do about it.
Even so, I can understand why some people like edgy comedy. Some comics will say things that are a bit controversial and still manage to make it funny, like Dave Chappelle, who, by the way, Andrew has dedicated a lot of time to talk about him as well. Won't burn your brain cells in this video, I'll just drop a link in the description. But while Chappelle is edgy and funny, this just doesn't work for everyone, and as a fan of Dave Chappelle, he doesn't rely on shock value to make people laugh. It's just part of it. And I can't help but feel like some comics like Schultz just want to say hateful things and use comedy as a guise to say it was all just a joke, part of their art, part of their genius. Not only is this man not funny, he's kind of a hypocrite. Look how in this video he literally asks questions that are supposed to make him look like this deep, thoughtful person, but I can't be the only one. In fact, I know I'm not the only one who can't help but to think that he's just talking about himself here. I mean, you guys would not believe these comments. Everyone can see right through him. He makes all these attempts to be insightful and they all just backfire.
In our business, that like before they were popping, they were kind of a dick. And then once they became very successful, they were the biggest.
And again, it's just so funny how the same issues he complains about, he perpetuates himself. So funny how he makes this criticism about Kendrick as though he is immune to criticism himself, simply because he's a comedian. I think it's worthy to note that the comment section on a lot of his videos tend to have negative comments and people calling him out. He just doesn't seem to care. Like in the comment section of his reaction to those Kendrick lyrics, he's getting a ton of hate. Even his team is catching a lot of smoke by association, with some people even alluding that they're being paid to laugh. And to be honest, it wouldn't be the most far-fetched theory. If I were on there, I'd have to get paid a little bit more on my salary to laugh that hard. A lot of what he says just isn't funny. I personally don't think you're funny if you have to rely on stereotypes, hate speech, and things of that nature to get laughs. If that's all you do, it's just distasteful. Really, you shouldn't be surprised when the only people who respect you are other bigots. At this point, for me, it's just getting old. We are looking at a man who may have ran out of original thoughts. It just seems like he has a pattern of making those types of jokes. Like, I even watched him on the roast of Tom Brady, and he just loves making race jokes.
Kevin's a superstar. The only thing you can make fun of him is for being short. But listen, there's advantages to being short. Kevin is the only black guy you can still call 3/5 a person, which is fucking awesome.
What I will admit though is this is one of his only sets where I actually managed to chuckle a couple times. Now, in his little reaction to Kendrick's lyrics, he does say that Kendrick incites violence in his music, and basically calls Kendrick a hypocrite.
Irony that he's like, we need to protect women, and he's performing at the Super Bowl, which is literally the Super Bowl of beating the shit out of women, guys. This is the problem. It's like when you're on your way up, nobody looks at your hypocrisy because they want you to be on the throne so bad. Like,
We ain't protecting nobody. Y'all can protect your fucking selves.
everybody gets these jokes over here.
Even in the Drake thing, when he said the shit about your next show at the Bay, whatever he said, basically kind of like call to violence.
Yeah.
And remember when Rick Ross got beat up? I was like, yo, Kendrick, you gotta fall back on that.
But I feel like to sit there and say that Kendrick is inciting violence and then proceed to talk about essaying him in some clearly rehearsed comedic sketch is some crazy work. I'm just not sure why the people around him are cackling like witches. Yeah, there's nothing funny about this except for the irony of it all. Moving forward, I will probably be ignoring Andrew Schulz because his ego has literally developed to a point that's getting dangerous. He truly thinks Kendrick Lamar would want clout from him. He truly thinks Kendrick received a good chunk of streams solely based off of his name that was never mentioned. The more attention he gets, the worse it will become. I just wanted to share my thoughts on the whole situation and would love to hear what you guys think. See you guys in the next video.
And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are.